Straw Hut Media.
What's new, Pussycats? You're also pretty unpopular. Thanks for playing this sparkly new episode of Release Date Rewind, a podcast that celebrates movie milestone anniversaries. I'm Mark J. Parker, aka MJP, a movie lover and a movie maker, and although I'm not Mr. Movie Phone, I'm the most jerkin' host you'll hear. It's a line from the movie, guys. It's not something I would actually say. In addition to listening to this episode wherever you like to pod, thanks to the Straw Hut Media Network, you can also watch this on YouTube and on Spotify. 25 years ago, in April 2001, just a few days after my 14th birthday, the Archie comic and animated series Josie and the Pussycats got a live-action movie in wide release that was super modern, super campy, and ahead of its time. Now, a quarter of a century later, it's a cult classic, and we are diving in.
Josie and the Pussycats are the best band ever!
So grab your friends, wear your cat ears, and jump on the bandwagon. It doesn't look like this movie is currently streaming with a subscription anywhere right now in the US, but you can rent or buy it, borrow it from your library, or find it somewhere random online. Alright, Pussycats and backdoor lovers, just pretend to be nice because it's time to rewind. All right, everybody, I'm so excited to have a friend on who we've known each other on social for a while. Now we're finally meeting. We're part of the band. We just need a third girl in this Josie and the Pussycats cover band. But Kevin Jones is here to talk about Josie and the Pussycats. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Mark.
And I love this hat. Where did this hat come from? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh. I've had it for a few years now. I don't even remember. I think it was for like a Halloween costume or something.
It's
and
so
I was
cute.
like, oh, that's still hanging around. So I thought it was perfect for the occasion.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. It is so perfect. Between my glittery water cup and your cute little cat hat, we are channeling Josie and the girls. I love it. So,
well,
Kevin, we were just talking.
Oh, yeah. Case too. So we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Is that the movie, or is that just any case?
This is actually a Etsy created one. It's for Drop Dead Gorgeous though, so that's fantastic. So
that's all in the family. That's so funny. Okay, this is meant to be. You have that, and I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Let me move my screen a little bit. All right, there's Ghostface, and you'll see I have a wooden Blockbuster logo up there, if you can see.
Oh, perfect.
Really cool. I got it at I think I got it at 90s Con last year by a cool artist. I love all that stuff.
So great.
So yeah, we're representing our Blockbuster. Blockbuster, of course, was still a huge thing 25 years ago when this movie came out.
Yeah,
were you a Blockbuster kid? Would you go often? I'm sure.
I grew up in a small town, so it was more like mom and pop stores, but sometimes I would go over to like the neighboring town, which had the, Blockbusters. So that was fun,
Oh yeah. Yeah. What was the name of your mom and pop one? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. One was called like Sunnycrest, which is random.
Love it.
They all had like the most, it would be like, Tom and Bob's, or I don't know. There were so many different kinds of.
Right. It was always someone's name. Yeah. We had like, what did we have in my town? I grew up in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia, so like a suburb of a city. So we didn't have like too many mom and pop stuff, but we did have on our main street a video store. I think it was called. It wasn't Suncoast. I loved Suncoast Video, although those movies were expensive to buy. But I love that store.
Yeah.
I think it was. Why am I blanking? I think it was called West Coast Video. Anyway, it was a smaller, but then of course down the road was Blockbuster, and I was also a really big Hollywood Video guy. Did you have any of those?
Yeah, we had some of those around here too. The buildings for some of them are still here, but they've repurposed some of them and made them into like Hollywood liquors. So they kept the Hollywood part and they just put like liquors after it, which is just hilarious to drive by because you're like, oh, that used to be a Hollywood Video, but
now you're pulling bottles before you were pulling videos off the walls.
Yeah,
okay.
Now it's not. Yeah, it's Jägermeister and not Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, pros and cons. A different benefit, I guess, right? Yeah, I do miss good old video stores because I'm just so behind. I wanted to say, Kevin, I love seeing your posts because you are on top of whatever's out, and I love that because I just feel like lately I've been busy and I've been very bad and looking at my phone way too much. When I see that screen time like report each week on my phone, I saw it this morning and I almost threw up. I'm like, why am I looking at my phone this much, right? But I love that you're on top of like what's new. I know you're watching Hacks. I need to see the new season of Hacks. Did you like the premiere?
Great. The premiere was great. It was very 30 Rock coded, which I know were.
Yeah, I worked on that years ago. Yeah,
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely, good memory. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah.
Hacks is so good. I love a good half-hour comedy. I just feel like we're all about like the long episodes. Stranger Things, the final season, every episode was like 2 hours long. It's like short.
Yeah.
So Hacks, and you're caught up on the comeback.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah. It has been interesting that we've had this sort of rebirth of these kind of campy, shows again. It seems like for a couple of years there really wasn't a whole lot, post pandemic,
Right.
And now we get like Hacks back and the comeback and what did I just watch? It was called gosh, I can't remember the name of it. The new Dan Levy show.
How's that?
It was good. It was good.
Title. Yeah. What's that on Netflix?
Yes, Netflix show.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because see that is so crazy. Maybe it's my brain or just the world we live in now, where it's like, geez, if you don't watch it like that weekend, there's already 10 other things to watch.
On to the next thing. It's crazy. Right? It's crazy. Big mistakes. That's what's called.
Big mistakes.
Yes, it's
okay.
quite good. Laurie Metcalf has like a great role in it too, which is fantastic. So
yes, I was already like on board when I saw Dan Levy. I was like, oh, cool, okay. And then when I saw Laurie Metcalf's in it, and is she like a regular? Is she in like most episodes?
More than I expected. I thought she was just gonna kind of pop up from time to time, but they give her a pretty meaty role throughout, which is
our queen.
Nice.
Oh my god, I love her so much.
So
love. I'm sure you saw Scream 7.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. So we won't spoil anything, but we're speaking the same language. Yes, of course. I mean, your Instagram, after all. Hello, Sydney's in your Instagram.
I wasn't gonna sleep on that one. Yeah.
Right. Real quick, what did you think of Scream 7? Did you like it, or I know it has problems, but
people have had like polarized.
Very polarizing.
That's every movie that comes out, and I think this movie had so much behind the scenes things going on too that was part of it. But I liked it. I had fun with it. It would take quite a bit for me to dislike.
I know it's so hard to hate any Scream movie, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I hated in the Scream universe was maybe the third season of the show when it moved to VH1 and just. And hate is still a very strong word. I don't know if I hated it, but it just was very bad. It was not good.
Yes. No. The first two seasons definitely had some nice moments in them.
Yeah.
I haven't had any desire to like revisit it, but it was okay. It kept my attention. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really need to revisit. Maybe like a highlight clip reel of like some deaths or some good character stuff, But so you've caught up on some stuff. I think you also just posted, and I saw a review, I think from IndieWire. I want to check out the Malcolm in the Middle. I feel like it's not. I guess it's a reboot. I don't even know anymore what's a reboot and what's just like a continuation. But it seemed like, did you like it?
Yeah, I did actually, and I wasn't like a massive fan of the original series. I kind of just would watch it when it was on, type thing.
Yeah.
But it hooked me in. I think they did a good job of sort of finding a way to continue the story with like his daughter, while also sort of bringing in all these other family members that were still kicking and everything. It was short, like it was. It felt more like a movie than a continuation series.
It's only a few episodes, right? Yeah.
But it was fun. Yeah, I've just been enjoying that there've been some comedies, because I feel like for a couple of years there, we just weren't getting much. We're still not getting much in terms of movies. Like, but watching a movie like this and all these movies from 2001, it's like, man, we don't get movies like this.
No, not at all. Especially certainly not. Yeah, certainly not theatrical, but even streaming. Well, it's hard because I guess now, to keep everyone's attention, any sort of movie, even if it's a slow burn or just sort of coming of age or whatever, there's got to be like a big problem. Like, that's got to, it can't just kind of be. It's funny. I was just talking with friends on their podcast about The Breakfast Club, and I'm like, I could see that being redone, but like, there's got to be a bigger issue there. It can't just be that kind of calm of just Saturday detention. You know what I mean?
No. Or it has to be like a big sci-fi thing. They have to turn into some genre.
Yes.
Thing
like Josie and the Pussycats. If this story was made now, it's like subliminal messaging, and like people are dying, or I don't know. It's got to be more. I don't want to say extreme, but just the stakes have to be even higher or deeper or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can't be
for sure.
Yeah, but I'm so glad we're talking about this movie, and it's really kind of special that this movie is so loved. I feel like it's loved more now than it was 25 years ago. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, it was a box office bomb, if I recall. Like, it just nobody saw in theaters. The album was pretty big, though. I think it went gold.
I saw that online. I bought it. Did you have the album?
Yeah. Oh, I had it. I think I even had the cassette tape. I had the CD.
Oh,
I was
nice.
playing it all the time.
Yeah, I had the album and the poster, and I feel like I know I bought the album before the movie came out because we were obsessed with the commercials, the trailers, and so I could hear some of the music. I was like, oh yeah, and I feel like I even bought the poster before seeing the movie. I was kind of crazy like that.
Sure.
Like my walls were covered, and I have a distinct memory. I think it was maybe this movie or something around there where like a friend barely, but like in the group of people that I would go see movies with, she was kind of like, do you always buy like the soundtrack before seeing the movie? And I was just like, just be quiet, like let me enjoy my whole movie going world, but yeah, that album, yeah, I believe this opened at number 7, so it was sadly not a super success, but it's amazing that it really has become a true cult movie that way, where
I
kind of a whimper in the beginning, and now everyone loves it all over Instagram.
Everyone,
right?
It seems to be. It's I'm not really sure why it didn't do particularly well. I think if I had to guess, it would be partly because it was coming on the tail end of all these all the 90s teen movies. I think by the time you get to 2001, they were starting to get a little like, okay, we're done with this, on to something else.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I think it's super campy. I think by the time you get to 2001, 2002, if you look at the type of movies that were coming out in the later half of the 2000s, like they definitely were not this.
No, we got pretty serious, right? Yeah, especially like mid to late 2000s. I feel like it was all when like Batman Begins came out or whatever. Like we still got comedies, but things just got a little more gritty, serious, edgier, I guess.
And I think a lot of people attribute 9/11 to that, which is reasonable, but I think it probably would have eventually happened to some degree anyway. Like these things seem to come in waves. Weirdly, we're kind of in this transition period where like at the latter half of each decade, it seems like there's this sort of shift into something else. And I think things are starting to get a little like campier again. What made me really notice it was the Housemaid, which like I don't think that movie would have done well if it had come out a couple years ago, but like huge hit. Did
you see it?
It's crazy. I did. I liked it. Yeah.
It was I thought it was really fun.
Name,
yeah. I mean, I didn't know a thing about what to expect. I just saw like I barely saw a trailer. I kind of intentionally was like, hey, I kind of like the vibe. Amanda Seyfried is great. I mean, but like I'm actually so happy that was a success because it's basically a life. It's like life. The way when I first saw it, I would tell friends it's like Lifetime meets Shudder, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I feel like is
said too. Yeah, I mean it's
right.
Like extra bloody, but yes. Which is the Shudder part. Yes.
Yeah. It got extreme. So I mean, but I love both those worlds. I always say like I love like horror and Housewives. So hey,
it's perfect.
So yeah, I agree. You're right. We're kind of in this fun. I don't know if it's a little bit of like a retro. I mean, we're all very nostalgic, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's always part of it. Yeah,
life is not great how it is in general, and then also I think as we get older, we want to just kind of put on that blanket and like watch the classics, right? But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if The Housemaid, if Devil Wears Prada 2, like it's perfect timing for it now, and I wonder if in the immediate post-COVID, what if it was 2022? Would we be as excited for these kinds of movies? Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
It's hard to say. For really close to a decade now, there just haven't been a ton of like studio comedies that have come out in theaters, and I'm really hoping that this kind of like reactivates that.
Because they are fun to watch. I just saw the drama in the theater, which is.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Did you see it? Have you seen it yet? No,
I haven't seen it yet.
I won't say a thing because it is surprising, but it is truly like a dark comedy. I mean, there's lots of laughter, but it's dark, baby. It is.
Okay.
So, but it was so fun to see that. I kind of saw it on a whim. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm free on a Saturday night. And I used to rarely go to the movies on opening weekend just because crowds can be so obnoxious. But I thought, why not? Yeah. And it was so fun to see that with a packed house. So I agree. Like just laughing with people, or horror, of course, that we love. Like it is really fun when you got a good crowd, right? To react
that's what's
with
been That's what's been kind of surprising is that like horror has been doing fine for the most part. Like it's the only genre other than like superheroes and like sci-fi stuff that like people are still going to the theaters for fairly regularly. But like comedies have kind of died out. Like adult dramas usually don't do particularly well.
Yeah,
it's like
it's all streaming.
Just happens
Right?
It's
funny how like
it's like
they're either streaming movies or now I feel like when you said adult dramas or now they're just TV shows. Like now, right?
Yeah,
like
true.
How often are we getting adult drama movies? Honestly, in any way?
Yeah, not much. Not much. At the Oscars this year, it was like a lot of them were international films that were being nominated. And I'm like, that's because Hollywood doesn't make these like kind of adult dramas that they tend to nominate for.
You're right.
It was nice that some horror movies were nominated.
Yes, I was just saying that. We had Weapons, we had Sinners, we had Frankenstein, and even I'm kind of scared to see it because it looked a little gross for me. But what was it? The Ugly Stepsister. That got
it's good.
Is it good?
Would like it?
Do you think?
Yes, it's very.
It's not too gory.
There are a couple scenes that are over the top.
I just the poster with the bloody toes. I was just like, ooh. We'll be right back.
For every band, there is a moment when they know they have made it. For one band, this is not that moment.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. You're a great crowd.
Okay, girls, we need the lane now. And your shoes.
Too bad Josie didn't get awards, but she's getting awards now, right? But it's 25 years later.
Often it seems like the movies that get all this attention at the Oscars, like, are you watching them 10, 20 years later? I'm not, for the most part.
No, friends just asked me over the weekend. They said, "What'd you think of the Oscar movies?" And truly, I was like, "Well, what did I see?" I'm like, Sinners, Weapons. I only could think of the horror. I'm like, one battle after another. Like, what? So I still have more to see, but it's funny how and I love award season. I mean,
it's fun,
right? A lot of people like us, but it's funny how now once it's done, it's like, okay, moving on. Like we said, there's something else to watch. Real quick, I wanted to say, since you mentioned superheroes, I was thinking this rewatching Josie, that there's a few guys in the movie. There's a lot of guys, but it's so funny because I feel like so many guy roles. If this movie was made nowadays, they'd be the Gabriel Mann character, he'd be he wouldn't be cute, he'd be hot, or I've always kind of had a crush on Paulo Costanzo. I've always kind of thought he was cute back in the day. I don't know what it was, but so I completely forgot that he's naked with the guitar in this movie, and I was like, ooh. And 2001 Mark was like, oh my god, completely forgot, but so thin. It's just funny how the superheroification, the Marvelification of movies, is that right? Marvelification of movies has made any shirtless guy that's a cute kind of teen movie like this would be way more buff, I feel like, than the love interests, in this movie, right? Do you agree?
I think so.
Time, right?
I mean, I think sad. I think Marvel has just impacted everything.
Everything, right?
You look at the posters. I remember when the Scream 7 poster came out, and I was like, "This looks like a Marvel movie."
Yeah, it looks like Marvel meets. I think I wrote Marvel meets a CBS firefighter show, where the whole cast. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's funny how it just really took over everything. You're right.
Yeah. I think you're right. Gabriel, he's cute. He reminds me a little bit of oh god, I can't remember his name, but the actor who played Harvey in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the original from the 90s.
Oh my gosh. I can't remember his name either, but you're so right. He was so cute. Oh yeah. Just kind of a normal cute guy, right?
Yeah. Aloof guy next door, kind of, doesn't see this beautiful person who's right in front of him until, it's almost too late to do anything about it.
It always works, right? It always works. But it's funny how Gabriel Mann, I don't really think of him really much at all anymore, but it's funny how he was sort of the cute boyfriend. Right before this, he did Cherry Falls as Britney's boyfriend, right? So it's just funny to see actors that now years later you're like, oh, that guy, I guess he was considered cute, and he is. But I just think we'd now see different kinds of guys that aren't skinny and shaggy. I think we'd see more young superhero types. It's almost like the Taylor Lautner in Twilight, when he got buff. It's that just changed the boy next door. Now everyone's got a surprising body under there, when we have actors in this movie, even when you think of du jour, Breckin Meyer, who's always been so cute, Seth Green, but none of them are babes, so it's just nice to see a movie where it's oh, the guys are all cute, but very normal. And now I don't think we would see that, No,
I don't think, unless it's Timothy Chalamet, but
but even you're right. Now he's still a stick and skinny, but it's just, he's kind of in his own, he's in his own kind of Johnny Depp vibe now, Well, all right, let me hold your thoughts. Now what I'll do, Kevin, let's rewind. Let's go back to 2001. I'm going to just set the scene with what was going on at the time when this movie came out, okay? I want to hear your thoughts, then we'll continue nerding out about this fun movie, Josie and the Pussycats. So this came out April 11th, 2001. Here's what was going on, Kevin. A different Kevin, a guy named Kevin Olmsted had just won $2.18 million on the ABC game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, making him the biggest winner in American game show history. I didn't know. Who knew?
Is that your final answer?
Exact, right? So Regis, wow, all right. Like, hey, Kevin Olmsted, I guess, still holds the record for biggest winner in an American game show. I can't remember what he looks like. You don't ever hear that name. I hope he's just rich, living life. I hope he's still got some money saved. But yeah, he has broken that record. On TV, the Teletubbies had just come to an end. Did you ever check out the Teletubbies? We were a little, we were like kind of older for that, but I feel like
older, but it was a big cultural thing.
Yes,
like I feel like things like South Park with like parody, all these.
You had to see some clips
parodies of it.
and make fun of it with your friends, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tinky
the
Winky.
purple one, the gay one, of course, the gay one. Yes,
exactly. So that had just come to an end by the time this came out. On the theater side, since you're a musical kind of guy, and I love theater as well, the Producers with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick was just about to officially open on Broadway, which was huge. I mean, that was a big production. Oh my God, that was I wasn't living in New York at that time, but that was just such a big thing for theater for years. Those guys,
I mean, it kind of kicked off these musical comedies again, which had sort of taken a backseat to all these big, like more operatic, like Les Mis and Miss Saigon kind of stuff. So it was, there was kind of a transition there with that. And
and I feel like, I mean, it had been done before, of course, but that seemed to really kind of put movie stars in lead roles on Broadway, and like ever since, I feel like that it's just been consistent, where it's like, the power of a name, especially Matthew Broderick, of course, so so that was a big deal for Broadway, happening in April of 2001. On the music side, the top songs, it's always fun talking about music because it's like, wow. Crazy Town had a popular song, Butterfly. Remember? You're my butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
So that
sugar, honey. Yeah.
Whatever. That was a big one. I can hear the music. And then All For You from Janet Jackson, which was such a hot song.
It's all for you.
Right?
Yeah,
that
song.
video,
song,
right? Got a nice package. I was like, whoa, honey, as a kid. So, so that was starting its reign at number one, kind of one song to the other, but those were very popular. And other popular movies when Josie came out, like we said, Josie and the Pussycats opened at 7, unfortunately, but we had Spy Kids, which I still have never seen. That was hugely popular. What'd you think of Spy Kids? Did you ever see it?
I saw it once and haven't thought about it since. It was Robert Rodriguez of all people. So, but
which was surprising, because he gave us like The Faculty a couple years prior.
Yeah, a couple years.
And I remember loving. I mean, I love that movie, and of course he had done other cool things. And then he does Spy Kids, and even though I had just turned 14. Was I 14? Yeah, 25 years. Whoa. So I was like in 8th grade. So I mean, I still was a kid, but Robert Rodriguez doing Spy Kids, I was like, ew, no. I thought I was way too cool for that, Meanwhile, it's like a franchise and made hundreds of millions of dollars. But Spy Kids was popular. Bridget Jones's Diary came out this same week.
Great.
I mean, another franchise. I should really watch those movies more. I've seen every one of them, but not enough, because they are. Every time I watch a new one, I'm like, God, this is so good. Are you a fan?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the most recent one, I was like, oh, this is why wasn't this in theaters? Like it
Isn't
premiered
it
on
so
like
weird?
Paramount. It was like
on Peacock, I think, right?
Peacock,
it's very
yes,
strange that after 3 successful theatrical ones, very strange. Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird move. But that had just come out. Then we had like Joe Dirt. Again, like the 2001, early 2000s, like odd comedies that were like kind of trashy, kind of dirty, but like we had the
so
one every
many.
week, right? Yes.
Yeah. That was what was different. Yeah.
Right.
There was like,
we don't have that
just
now.
looked at a list of all those. There were so many, like you said, Corky Romano, things like that. Just all these weird little quirky comedies that we just don't get.
I guess they were just easy to make. They were lower budget, and someone was available. You could probably shoot them pretty quickly. Like I have a soft spot for a dirty, raunchy, probably not so good. I haven't seen it in decades, but Say It Isn't So with Chris Klein and Heather Graham had just come out. There were just so many of those movies that were not number one, but they were on our radar. You saw the commercials, you knew the stars. Sally Field is in that. Like Richard
Is that
Jenkins.
the one where they're like they think they're brother and sister, but then they find out they're not brother and sister,
quite
and then
complicated. Yeah, they fall for each other, right. Then they think they're brother and sister. Then it comes out that actually they're not, and so they can end up together. But just like weird, like Farrelly Brothers type humor, right?
But
we had Joe Dirt with David Spade, probably one of his last like movies, because David Spade isn't really a movie star. So it's funny to think like, oh yeah, he was like the lead of Joe Dirt. And Blow with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz. That was another big one that had just come out. That was a big deal. I remember the poster was very cool. That was like a cool movie, you know?
Yeah.
So those were all very popular at the box office. In comes Josie and the Pussycats. So Kevin, this is the time where I'm going to throw it over to you for a little bit. In your own words, it can be very short. You don't need to go crazy. What's like, if anyone out there hasn't seen this movie and just wants to hear us talk about it, what is this story of Josie and the Pussycats about? What's the log line, would you say?
Okay, well, Josie and the Pussycats, it follows this struggling garage band, and they're the kind of the cool girls in town, but nobody really takes them seriously, which sucks, because they're great. They're this fantastic band. And sort of overnight, they get catapulted to global stardom, and they are discovered by this record producer named Wyatt, who is part of the Mega Records, which is very ominous. But, I love the score on this, by the way. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Oh, it's so good! It's such a good score.
So
it felt very Danny Elfman. I looked him up. I think it was John Frizzell, I believe is his name.
Yes, but he had done a lot of the he done like the Mike Judge movies.
Cool.
Beavis and Butthead and that kind of thing. Apparently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the girls find out that they're pawns in this giant, massive corporate conspiracy to brainwash the youth of America.
Yes, and then they saved the day, luckily. But we got Alan Cumming and Parker Posey just chewing the scenery. The two of them together.
My gosh.
I forgot that Alan Cumming as Wyatt has a lot to do. He was so kind of supporting in my memory, but he's in it from start to finish. He is, right? Parker Posey's more kind of in like half the movie, you know.
She kind of pops, up. He's kind of the babysitter throughout the movie, which I think is hilarious. Like starts like he's like babysitting du jour, which
Yes, and it's actually funny because he has I forget. Is he in Spice World? I should know. I talked about it. I'm getting him confused with Richard E. Grant. Oh yeah, he's in it. He's totally in it. He plays Pierce. Who is Pierce? I don't know, but I think he's part of their team. Yeah, but Richard E. Grant was more of like their manager, kind of babysitting them. But same kind of role, he's with the band, whatever the band is of the moment before they kill them, right? But and it's fun to see him with long hair, and now we know him as the host of The Traitors, which I love. Do you watch? I'm sure you've seen.
Off and on. I'm not like a diehard fan, but I've seen the first season, and then I kind of like tag in sometimes.
Yeah, you dip in and out. Oh my God, he's so much fun. But it's just so fun to see. I mean, everyone in this movie just looks like they're having a blast, right? Like, what a great cast to assemble, right?
It's great, and I mean, some of them from like the teen movies that have been popular, of course, like Rachel Lee Cook, who had just done She's All That.
She's All That, and, of course.
Tara Reid, of course, who was just fresh off American Pie and Urban Legend, and everything else.
Of course.
And Rosario Dawson, like I was trying to remember like what at the time she had been most known for, and she was in Kids, which was
of course
nothing like these other movies.
I still have actually to this day. I still have never seen Kids. I want to check it out someday, but
it's a pretty fucked up movie,
right?
But
I guess because we knew who she was, but I guess this kind of made her more of a star, because I'm looking, before this, King of the Jungle. Oh, I think that's more of a. Oh, okay, John Leguizamo. I think that's more of an indie, but she was one of the friends in Down to You, which was Freddie Prinze Jr. and Julia Stiles, one of those many kind of like forgettable rom-coms. He Got Game, but like, now that I think about it, I think Rosario, she was kind of new to a lot of us. I think with this movie,
so,
right?
I think so, which is crazy because she's such a big star now. Everybody knows,
Oh my gosh, she's so unique and cool, and I've always really admired her. But great casting, and it's so funny because like Tara Reid now I know is kind of sad to watch or listen to. I hope she's okay, but and Rachel Lee Cook doesn't really do as much. I'd say out of the three, Rosario seems to pop up the most, but even she doesn't. She's not in everything like some people are.
They were three small-town girls with big-time dreams.
Who's a rock star? I am.
Who wanted to share their music with the world.
We can't sit around here waiting for it to happen. We are musicians. We should be out there playing music. We do play.
Nobody believed in them.
You suck.
But they believed in themselves.
We're special. Yeah, special ed.
They're great cast. And of course, Parker Posey, who was, at the time I was going through most of what we know her for was around this time period.
Isn't that funny?
She
like
really all the Christopher Guest movies and Party Girl and yeah, I mean, there were
just the year prior was Scream 3, of course, and I feel like she took Jennifer Jolie, and she's just going even campier in this, right? Like, so it's pretty amazing to see her journey because she had already been working for a while, but this is when she was in these big budget movies and really kind of becoming the Parker Posey I think we all know now, because she was always done comedy, but a little bit more subtle or a little more not so campy.
I think yes, not quite so. Not the House of Yes, not quite to that degree.
Right. And like Clock Stoppers. I mean, she's done so
Clock Stoppers, Dazed and Confused. She had that great supporting role in there. It's just
she's so fun to watch in this. And the dresses, she has that like Mega Records dress,
Yeah. I was gonna say the costumes in this are so great.
What a blast, right? They're all of them. Even the guys, like everyone is so cute or so crazy looking, that it's such a I'm sort of surprised actually that we don't see more people dress up as these characters like for Halloween.
No, and it's not that far off from from where like the boy bands and stuff were at the time. If you look at the pictures and videos from them at the time, like in 2001, because this was kind of 2001 was starting. They were starting to go out of popularity, but the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and everything, Spice Girls and stuff, they all have this bright. Glossy, costumes and everything.
Glittery and shining.
Lisa Evans. Shout out to her. She was the costume designer on this.
Oh my gosh,
fantastic.
The costumes, the hair and makeup. I mean, it really is a feast for the eyes. I think that's half of what makes this movie so great. I think is just the look, the camera. I mean, it's so fun seeing their music videos and lots of great montages. It's not a long movie, and I realized like, like a lot of songs get some montages, so it flies. It's a movie that just moves, right? But the way it looks is such a ride.
It is. It's just such a great sort of time capsule, like satire movie that really you watch this and you're like transported back to that era of like TRL and Virgin Megastores and AOL.
Oh my god, I love the Virgin Megastore and TRL. Oh my god, it's so I completely forgot Carson is in this. Yeah, it's
Carson Daly.
Time capsule. In such cool ways because it's like boy bands, girl bands. We don't really have many of those anymore. And it's not, of course, like it was, right? So it's a time capsule that way. And then with like Serena Altschul on MTV News and like all that stuff, all that kind of dated stuff that has all ended, you
and Carlos had just done Sugar and Spice. And I remember there's that moment and there where the MTV
Kurt
News
Loder.
comes up with that Kurt Loder. That's so funny.
Anytime seeing the like MTV News logo, I mean, in a movie, it was always so fun because we were all watching MTV and MTV News was the coolest news. I mean, they were all so cool. Oh, I miss it. And now you can't even find a lot of MTV News stuff because Paramount like wiped websites of a lot of archives and stuff. It's crazy. So at least we have it in these movies. But yes, it's funny. Again, thinking of just 2001, I say we, but maybe it's more me. I kind of forgot just how diverse of a film year 2001 is, because we got some, of course, heavy dramas like you always do, but like God, the comedies. I mean, from like you were just saying, Sugar and Spice, and then what I was really thinking of was like Zoolander. Josie and the Pussycats and Zoolander are in the same world, right?
I'm glad. Yes, I was on the exact same wavelength.
You got that vibe too?
They're both kind of these corporate consumer satires. Right. They're both kind of these like satirical thrillers. Yes. And the leads are both being sort of manipulated in ways to, fuel these global cabals of, evil people trying to brainwash America. And, you're absolutely right. It's like they're
right.
I didn't realize that until maybe the past like 5 years, but I was rewatching and I was like, God, these are very complementary movies.
Right. You knew more than me. I didn't think about it until like this month. I was like, wait a minute. And I love both, but I love Zoolander. Like I bought Zoolander. I've seen that so many times.
It's so funny. Yeah. I think you never saw the sequel, either you're on the wavelength. No, the sequel don't bother. It's not. Is it? Yeah, the opening with Justin Bieber is like the best part of the movie. The rest of it's not.
Okay.
He gets like gunned down.
I was so excited. But Zoolander, oh my God, it just was so fun. And also just when you think of the fashion, the music, I mean, they are very complimentary movies. Yes. And then when you think of the actual plots, it's like, I wonder if like the Josie and the Pussycats filmmakers were like, what the hell? Like it's pretty similar,
It is. That happens sometimes where it's like sometimes you get these movies for whatever reason that are very like I always think of The Prestige and
The Illusionist, right?
The Illusionist. Like
Norton.
they're not like that similar, but they're similar enough that you're like, how did these movies get made in the same year? And it's
right?
kind of like that with this and Zoolander. And
totally.
like, 2001 and 2000 were kind of just like the heights of these just very satirical, self-aware movies too. Like even Scream 3, like you mentioned, like that it's a very self-aware Hollywood commenting on itself kind of thing.
Right.
And Zoolander and Josie kind of both do that. Yeah.
And I feel like we sort of took them for granted. I feel like not until later are we realizing like, oh yeah, these movies, and like Sugar and Spice, a deep cut. I mean, that is a cult movie because that was not very popular. I didn't see that in theaters at the time, but some of the dialogue, wow, much like this, like just like we had some really great scripts back then. I think
the dialogue. Yeah.
We just didn't really catch it at the time,
I think the smart, like you said, whip smart satirical dialogue. That's the kind of thing that I miss the most from movies in general. Cause you barely see that kind of thing anymore. I was also thinking about the fact like this was there were a bunch of movies in the 90s that were sort of reboots of TV shows from the 50s through 70s, things like, of course, the Brady Bunch movie, which the two writers for this movie wrote a very Brady sequel. So like that's the connection.
Makes perfect sense.
There.
Oh my God. When Fiona, when Parker Posey does the lisp, I think of Cindy in the Brady Bunch movies. It's perfect.
And the Addams Family movies, and then there were all these like, and those have survived the test of time, but there were all these other ones that haven't really, like, there was a Leave It to Beaver movie I remember, and
I remember
the Beverly Hillbillies maybe a little bit.
With like Elijah Wood, there's the Beverly Hillbillies. Oh my God, love that. Yes, right.
So it's I think this was kind of at the tail end of all that too, and I think people were kind of like, oh, another TV show being turned into a movie kind of thing, and I think that probably hurt it a little bit because of course Josie the Pussycats was this, well, it was more of this cartoon show, based on the comics, of course.
I was going to ask you, I wanted to ask you, Kevin, because it's the Archie comics. We get Riverdale, which is also so funny now because I loved the show and then kind of fell off. But everyone kind of did. It was so huge, and then like it's good. It just everyone's so pretty, but then you got other things to watch, right? But we had the comics, and then we had like the cartoon show, and all that. So did you, by the time this came out, had you already known much about Josie and the Pussycats? Because I kind of didn't. I sort of remember seeing, not that I was a big comic book reader, but like some Archie stuff a little bit. I don't think I really ever watched the cartoon show. So did you dabble in any of that?
I dabbled, I definitely watched the cartoon show a little bit. As far as Archie comics, I was a much bigger like Sabrina the Teenage Witch because like that was with Melissa Joan Hart because that had been the biggest, the big thing on TV at the time. But I wouldn't say I was like a huge Archie comics fan.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's not kind of the nice thing about this movie is you really don't have to be. You can either enjoy it like on face value. There's so many things you can enjoy about it. You can enjoy it if you are a fan of those. You can enjoy it if you're a fan of like satires. If you're, if you just want sort of a time capsule movie that takes you back to this very campy era in history. So
it's interesting because I'm right there with you. Like, I knew the name. I knew Josie and the Pussycats. I had heard like the theme song, before this version, But I just wonder if maybe it would have been a bigger success because the IP is known, but it's not Batman or it's not Batgirl or what I'm saying. Like it's still a little bit of it wasn't Scooby-Doo. So it's a little bit lesser known that I wonder, even though the cast, like we said, is amazing, I wonder if it needed bigger names. Like I you might have seen, I saw, it's always fun to hear like who auditioned for things like Lisa Left Eye Lopez and Beyonce and
I read
Aaliyah, that. Like all auditioned for the Rosario role, Valerie, right?
Yeah.
And, oh my God, can you imagine like Left Eye? That would have been, I mean, I was a big TLC fan. Oh my God, still am. But like, I just wonder if a movie about rock stars needed, like, because that was happening at this time. I mean, only what 2 years later, Beyonce was in Austin Powers. So I mean, Britney Spears was about to do Crossroads. So I mean, we were seeing, singers obviously acting in things. But I just wonder if a singer needed to act in this to kind of just get a little bit more eyeballs on it, I wonder.
Yeah, I think that could be. I mean, Leah was in Queen of the Damned around this time
Queen of the
period.
Damned. Yeah, she was a little bit more serious. I can't picture her in any of these roles, right? I mean, the Rosario role is probably the most serious. I mean, Josie, Rachel Lee Cook, I mean, has some serious stuff to do, but she's still a little. Yeah. I mean, they all are super goofy. Tara Reid. I mean, Melody has just. I mean, she's actually. I forgot how funny she is. Right.
What a character. Yeah. And I love how, like, even though she is over the top, there are these moments where you find out she's actually weirdly insightful, like where she's commenting on like his order, Wyatt's order coffee. And I'm just like, oh, this is like, and about how it's like, maybe he's just like really insecure because I'm like, but that's funny. Yeah. But I think you're right. Yeah. Maybe if, they had shelled out a little bit of money to get some bigger names in this. Like Zoolander is filled with these huge cameos, like David Bowie, like all these, and I think that was part of the appeal of that movie, was to see all these things. I think I also think about a lot to the '90s, like how we grew up with Nick at Night, so a lot of shows we would see sort of secondhand. Like I don't know about you, I would watch,
of course,
but like I was watching the Brady Bunch on Nick at Night while I was watching the Brady Bunch movies, but like. The Josie and the Pussycats, like that wasn't on like Nick at Night or anything. So I mean, the cartoon, maybe it would occasionally be on in the morning or something. But I don't think it was as part. I don't know. It wasn't just in the cultural atmosphere as much.
You just had
as much as
right. You kind of had to dig a little bit more to know about Josie and the Pussycats, and who knows why? Yeah. Maybe because it's a very girl power kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe unfortunately, that's always,
unfortunately, kind of like a little bit lower. I don't know, right? Because I loved, like you mentioned, Sabrina. I mean, I loved Sabrina. I loved a lot of girl stuff. So it's funny how this one just sort of escaped me personally a little bit. The original stuff, but the movie, I was all for.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
Fell in love with how it looked, like we said. But real quick, I want to mention. I know we talked about our stars, kind of where they were in their careers. But you mentioned the writer-directors also had worked on one of the Brady Bunch films. I didn't know until just this week. I'm like totally out of the loop. I didn't realize, of course, they directed Can't Hardly Wait. Just a couple years prior, which I mean, that movie is so good. I know it's maybe not as great as some others of that kind of era, but I just think that movie, as I get older and as it gets older, it's so good. Like I would love to see a stage musical of that. I'm surprised we haven't gotten new adaptation, right?
Yeah,
because that could be so fun, right?
Sure,
but
it's a great hangout movie. It's like you just kind of put it on, and
so many great characters and actors, right?
Yeah, all the members of Du Jour were in that movie, which I didn't even think about until I was, I was like, oh, that's funny. That
I'm like looking at the writer directors, and then I see the guys, and I'm like, oh my god, every one of them was in Can't Hardly Wait. I love that. Like, I love that it wasn't just like. I just love that it wasn't like a couple random Can't Hardly Wait people. It's like, no, the band is the connection to Can't Hardly Wait. I just thought that was really clever.
Yes, that's funny. Yeah. Just that like the name du jour, which literally means like popular for a short period of time, or like of the moment, which is so funny because like of course they get you think they get killed at the beginning of the movie,
right?
We find out that they
I completely forgot that they don't die. So I was like watching this with fresh eyes again. But I just love how we open with Backdoor Lover. I mean, we forget
the lyrics.
The lyrics of all these original songs. You think it's really just Josie and the Pussycats, but no, we're getting great du jour original songs as well. Oh my god, so funny. And the opening feels like right out of, I think it was the Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, maybe.
Yes.
I think when like they're kind of like in front of a crowd, like I'm like, so it's just so smart and meta of that time.
Yes.
For I know to look this way and to poke fun this way, right?
For sure. And I know the songwriter, at least one of them was Adam Schlesinger, who
was he in like
Fountains of
I was gonna say, was it? Yep. Okay.
But he also wrote a lot of the songs for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which I also love. It's another and you can kind of see there's a lot of connective tissue with these songs and just the satire, and it's just fun in that regard too.
Yeah, and he's worked on a good amount of movies too. I'm just seeing real quick.
Yeah, I think he passed away a couple years ago, but yeah.
He did. Yeah, 2020, April 2020, so 6 years ago. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, really. COVID, of course. COVID, of course. It's terrible, I know. But man, he did good work in this and all of his movies. I mean, the music.
Yeah.
world of tough competition.
And that is so sad.
Fate is giving the Pussycats the chance of a lifetime.
We'd love for you to sign with Mega Records.
How am I gonna pull this off? I'm a girl from Riverdale. I'm not a rock star.
You gotta believe in yourself.
Real quick, I should mention the directors' names. They are Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. So directing team, writing, directing team. Really good stuff. I didn't know the Can't Hardly Wait connection until literally a few days ago. So love it. I see it. I love it. I celebrate it. But real quick, Kevin, with all the good music, what are some of your favorite songs? Do you have a favorite that you hear? Because these songs are bangers. I even seeing it on the big screen, I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm loving the music, right?
For the longest time, these songs weren't streaming anywhere either. So you had to have the CD or you had to, have it ripped somewhere. Yeah, but like I think 5 years ago, I remember, it like popped up on Spotify or whatever. Yeah. So now you can listen to all these songs anytime you want, which is great. I think "Pretend to Be Nice" is probably one of my favorites.
That seems to be like the winner, right? That like it's just so catchy, right? And also the music video montage is so cool. It's like right in the middle of the movie. Now that they're huge, overnight sensations. Like I love it. Yeah. It's a really good
song. Many little details. Just it's like I think that's what makes this movie so rewatchable. Is like you watch it, and you're like, oh, but there's that, and then there's that, and there's that joke, and there's like this visual thing happening here. That like, what did I notice? Just they were looking at the Billboard records of like it was like Josie was number one, or I think it was number one, but then underneath it was just like sneakers, like just the random titles that were underneath it that I paid attention to in the past.
Yeah, you're so right. All those little details that like you got to really study, and just thinking of all the cuts. I mean, editing this movie with all the footage.
Oh God, I can't imagine.
Like it was a lot of work, and it works so well. So it's just a bummer when it doesn't. I don't know, become what they want it to become. But so I would agree with you. I think "Pretend to Be Nice" is probably the best, but I do love "Three Small Words."
"Three Small Words" is great.
The song at the end, I forget what it's even called. What is the song at the end called?
"Spin Around." I think
"Spin Around." "Spin Around." Yes, like that is so again like of that era. You know what I mean? Like we were listening to music that sounded like that, like from Avril and from whoever
it was
at the time.
It kind of captured that pretty well because it's funny that like the boy bands are kind of by 2001 were on their way out, sort of, and that's kind of what's happening in the movie too. Like it's more like Avril people coming in, which is really what's happening with Josie, because they're more the kind of the rock group, and they're taking over these sort of boy band pop things, which was
isn't that interesting?
Kind of funny
right?
It's I think what really impresses me about this movie is how it's very hard to parody or satirize something when you're living through it, and this movie manages to do that in a way that I think the only other movie I can think of that does it this well is the Brady Bunch movie, which I think does it really well with the early 90s and all the grunge stuff and everything too. So it's fun that there's a connection between those two movies.
Oh,
the
well said.
At least very very Brady sequel. And
yes,
stuff. So,
absolutely.
Just smart.
Well said. Yeah, you're right. We're connecting like this to Zoolander and other things, but we could absolutely connect this to the Brady Bunch movies for sure. Not only with the writers, but just that vibe of you're right. It's hard to spoof things in real time and critique it, like loves the Scary Movie movies. We mentioned the new ones coming out. Love that first movie. I've seen that first movie so many times, right? And they're spoofing it. They're not really critiquing it. So it's interesting when you have a story like this that spoofs things, that pokes fun at things, and then they're critiquing it in real time, but it's funny and it's campy. It's tricky. It's gotta be so tricky, right?
It's, I mean, the whole thing is, I guess to a large degree, corporations have always been trying to sell us crap. That's and that is really ultimately sort of the heart of this movie. That like they all these companies and corporations are trying to brainwash people into buying things, and of course it's even worse now with the algorithm and everything else. In some ways, this movie was kind of prescient in that way. That
but too bad we don't have Mr. Movie Phone's voice. Actually, we're getting
Mr. Movie
hypnotized
Phone
just in more boring ways, But Mr. Movie.
Did you ever call Mr. Movie Phone when you were?
All the time, Kevin.
All the time.
All the time. And you know what? I would do it because like I like to hear his voice, but then I'd get so annoyed because then you'd have to wait. You'd have to hear every movie. Yes. And sometimes, kids like us who maybe wanted to see the deeper cut horror movie or whatever, that isn't like the prominent one. It's like, oh my God, I have to hear through, I don't know, like Bridget Jones's Diary. All right, no, I'm trying to get to Josie, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kids today do not understand just the work involved, right? Of just finding your showtime, right? But yeah, it is interesting. Do you want to talk real quick about, like 2026, 25 years later, how corporations are in control of even more than they were 25 years ago, right? Big companies owning this and owning that. And, like, I think that also helps age this movie very well. Is like, it was sort of ahead of its time, right? Would you agree at how?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
the big bad is Mega Records, is like Paramount, is, all these big companies that own all these little things. And it's all just a funnel, right? It's a cycle of like, let me make money and use. Right.
I mean, the music industry has definitely shifted a lot in 25 years. Everything is more kind of, streaming now, but the big ideas of these corporate sort of overlords trying to impact everything. I often watch this movie on Super Bowl Sunday because I think it is sort of the perfect like satire of the Super Bowl in general. And that because what is the Super Bowl? It's just they're trying to sell you crap the whole thing. I mean, and there's a game going on in the background or whatever, but really it's about them trying to sell you things. And then there's a halftime show, which you get in this movie, which is like this great concert.
You're so right.
I tend to watch this movie on Super Bowl Sundays. So.
Oh, I love that. It's such a good Super Bowl movie. You are so right.
I think it is pretty prescient in that regard. I don't think even they knew that things were going to get as bad as they are. I mean, who of us did know?
Oh my God, yeah. Where everyone's owning each other, and I was just reading about like the Alamo Draft House now being owned by Paramount, and like they're completely different, and like
and Paramount owning HBO and everything.
Oh God, that's scary. Yeah, you're right.
I do think one pro of this era, just to say something nice about it, is that it's a pro and I guess it could be a con depending on who you ask. It's a little bit less homogenized. Like in this movie, like everybody's listening to all the same stuff and watching all the same stuff at all the same time, except for the one girl who gets put in the van and
oh my God, that's which is so hilarious. Funny.
So funny. But now I think we're a little more segmented. We're kind of off in our own little groups, like watching our own stuff and doing everything. And it's a pro in the sense that like you can pretty much watch whatever you want, and there's a lot of content for a lot of different kinds of people and everything. But I think the con is that we've lost the sort of through line of pop culture, where it's like, well, what is when we look back 10 years from now, like what was popular then, really, really popular stuff that really broke through.
What really broke through? Yeah, because everyone's so segmented into whatever. You're so right. It's less water cooler for sure. Yeah, that is interesting.
It is, yes.
That's a good. That's a good thing to compare. Yeah, because I mean, we see all the fans. Yeah, like Pink is the new red, and like Jerkin, and like it's so homogenized. You're right. And now. Right,
it's like Buffy meets Chicken Run.
Oh my God, I wrote that down. I know.
You're a Buffy fan too, right?
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
so
I wrote that down. Yes. What were they talking about? Yes. Was it fashion? Was it like a shirt?
It was fashion. So. Yeah. It was in the scene where they go down into like the bunker and there's like all these people working and trying to figure out how to brainwash everyone.
I love that bunker, that whole mainframe. It's like the Matrix but gay or something. You know what I mean?
the gay
like how like Fiona just like presses a button and then they all go down and she's showing these like investor guys. Yes.
I could just talk about Parker Posey in this movie for like an hour. She's so
she's so fun. Oh my God!
When she comes down the stairs and the why do you do what you do? And it's like a cover of their song, but it's like Broadway cabaret.
It's like Broadway jazzy. Oh yeah, I love that. I'm like, I need more of that. Give me a full song of that, right? And I mean, when we see the true Fiona, which what is her name in real life?
God, I can't remember. Lisa something.
It's Lisa Snyder, lisping Lisa. And it's white ass Wally. They realize they're from the same school. I'm like, whoa, that is such a silly, goofy, crazy, oddball twist. And
it's so because they've been working together like this whole time, and then
they never realized it until
they're I like, and this is actually kind of smart too in the sense that they were both kids that were sort of picked on or whatever in high school, and of course they become the villains because they were ignored and stuff in high school, which I think is often true to life.
Oh, yeah.
Like the people who do the most damage are the ones who were sort of hurt the most. Like
yes, they turn to scheming and business and work. They threw themselves into their work, and now they are so dangerously in control. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because with Wally or Wyatt, it's funny. There's even a line where now I always write so many notes and then I can't figure out where they are.
Me too.
There's even like a little like love letter nod to Romy Michele, because Alan Cumming has a line that says like basically, of course now I can't find it, but like, yeah, they'll bully you and then it'll be weird in 10 years at your high school reunion. And then he like looks at the camera.
Oh,
which is a fun little nod to Romy Michele.
I've never caught that. That's so funny. That's okay.
But then also, of course, it segues to, it connects to the reveal at the end that like they were bullied in school. And so it makes sense for the story, but it's also just a nice little wink to another great
There's
role
so many
him,
little great winks in this movie. Missy Pyle, who we haven't talked about, but she has that great one where they're like, well, why are you even here? And she's like, because I was in the comics. Funny.
The way she delivers that line is so funny. I wrote that down too. Oh yeah. She's really funny because it's funny. Her character is just the sister of their manager. So it's like, who are you? But man, she steals the movie at times. She is so great in that role. She's great in everything she does.
She does.
Oh my God, you slept with him, she's just very goofy. Oh, I love it so much. And how she's into Alan M, Gabriel Mann's character, and he's so not into her.
What does Wyatt call him? Like, goodbye, Adam 12. And he's like, it's Alan M. It cracks me up.
Oh my God.
Even the throwaway lines are like...
so many of the throwaway lines are great. I wrote so many lines. I mean... I even wrote "Welcome to your party." Just the way Parker delivers that. It's that's the thing. It might be either a really funny written line or just a funny spoken way to do it.
There's so many.
More like Total Request Dead. So random when Carson Daly and Aries Spears are hired to kill them. Like it's so zany.
Things are finally going their way, but between the mania.
Is that Josie?
Be huge.
The managers.
We decide everything.
What's hot and what's not.
Welcome to your party.
Who else thinks that Fiona's a freak?
And the media.
We're gonna be on TRL.
This may be the toughest gig they've ever played.
Have you noticed that everything has sort of become all about Josie?
Hey Rewinders, hope you're loving this chat with Kevin like I am. If you are, please leave a rating on your favorite podcast app, a thumbs up on YouTube, or send this episode link to your bandmates. I'm pausing the Pussy chat to briefly spotlight another memorable movie from spring 2001, and that's Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor, whether you love it or hate it, which came out just a month after Josie. Here's a friend from high school, Bobby Murray, who is a big fan of this blockbuster.
My name is Bobby Murray, a fellow high school graduate with Mark, someone who I could not be more thrilled that I reconnected with at our 20-year reunion, where we discovered both of our loves for movies. A quick note about Pearl Harbor to share. This was such a cool era of epic movies, as I would call them, when you would combine big stars with a love story, disaster themes, and historical action. Films like Titanic and Armageddon come to mind. Something with a big cast, a big budget, and great music. So shout out Hans Zimmer. Pearl Harbor was absolutely perfect for this era. Ben Affleck, Josh Hartnett, Kate Beckinsale, and random supporting actors like Alec Baldwin, Dan Aykroyd, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Tom Sizemore. Everyone just did what they did best, shine on the screen. It didn't need to be the most historically accurate movie because it had charisma, flair, and a lot like the movies of the 90s and early 2000s, it was carried by its stars. Had great cast, great music, and great rewatchability.
Thanks, Bobby, for that cameo, and nice to catch up at our 20th high school reunion last year. Also, listeners, I want to tell you about another show on the You Run Podcast Network, and that is the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. Hosted by Scott and Mark, it's the only horror movie review show completely run and controlled by you, the listeners. They have episodes about recent new movies like Ready or Not 2 and Scream 7, plus old hits like 30 Days of Night and Wolf Creek. Check them out after this episode, and we will be right back.
made you a rock star.
Tell me you don't love that. Forget it.
You know, I never liked you.
No matter what happens, we will always be friends first.
Are you gonna kill me with the guitar?
You messed with the wrong pussycat.
My bad.
Do you think that like, it's a very funny movie. We love it. It's good.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, on your latest rewatch, did you watch it this Super Bowl? Did you put it on?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Right. Do you feel like anything doesn't land? Because I did feel like, even though it's overall so good, there are some jokes that I'm just like, oh, you know, a couple of moments maybe aren't perfect. Maybe they just need a little bit more tweaking. Would you agree?
Yeah, there are some moments like that. I've seen it so many times that it's really hard for me to even watch it objectively.
Right.
It's one of those sort of movies. But I mean, and of course, there's always some humor that's like, oh, well, that's a little mean. Like, do we need to be, you know,
right?
that?
I say often on the
90s.
show, how like some humor was mean. Some of these jokes in these in like late 90s, early 2000s, like where, you know, like some jokes were still homophobic in some movies, or, you know, like it's just like, ooh, okay, that was kind of too far, you know? So,
And I think while this movie does have a lot of like good corporate satire and stuff, I guess I can kind of, I think some of the critical stuff at the time was that you're putting all thid product placement things in this movie, and it's like, is that for I don't know, like, is that really serving the purpose that, you know, you're trying to make it serve? Like, did we have to use like real brands, or could we have just used fake brands? I don't know. I think it works, but like I can kind of get the argument there too, in that it's like, okay, like, does it have anything really all that deep to say other than just, you know, corporations are bad, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But like, does it need to say more than that? It's a comedy movie. Like, I appreciate that it's just like has something to say, you know.
I mean, it's ultimately about like sisterhood, right? I mean, like, you know, because they kind of fall apart, and then you know, Josie comes to her senses, you know.
And it's not, they're the core of the movie, and it's not necessarily trying to beat you over the head with a message, which I think a lot of movies nowadays do.
Right.
Like, I always think of that Black Christmas 2019. That's okay, the idea is here, but why are you just? It's good here, but why are you just beating me over the head with these things? You know, it's like you still have to have characters that people care about, and like everything else needs to be kind of, you know, driven from that.
Exactly. And also, it's okay to have like a couple storylines, you know, like I just feel like some movies, it's like the only story is like that repetitive theme, and it's like you can also have like B story, you know, it's about the girls, but then it's the corporation, and then it's love, and, you know, like, I don't know, and also just the life of a struggling musician, you know, there's like different things going on here. It's not so, I think, you know, flat, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, as you know, someone sort of works in music, like that's probably what has drawn me to this movie a lot too. Is just like you said,
that's another good reason why you're here. You're
musician aspect, and the the sort of idea of like, we don't want to sell out, but also we need to make a living, and we need to, you know, how do we exist in this world while still being true to ourselves without, you know, selling out to these giant corporations completely anyway. And that's, I think the girls sort of, you know, walk that. And then, the sort of fallout between them at the end is I think happens to a lot of bands too, where it's like, because everybody gets sucked up into this machine of, you know, the corporate machine. And then they start to question each other, and like, oh, are we really friends? Like, who really wrote this song? And so I appreciated that.
Oh yeah, I completely feel for Val, for Rosario's character.
Oh yeah.
When we go from the Pussycats to now Josie and the Pussycats, I'd also be like, wait, what? You know, so you totally feel for them in their journey, you know, and even silly Mel, you know, who's not always, you know, up to speed, but like, it's a really, I love the love story just between these friends, you know, and how I think Josie even says like, you're my sisters, you know, so it's just awesome. It's so
you're right. I mean, there is kind of this side story between her and Alan M, but it's so like off to the, you know, side. Really, this is a movie about three young women. Like,
I kind of view him as just like a bonus, right? Like, he's just kind of like a little cherry on top, but like, that's just, you know, I guess to be a relatable, like, you know, they're teens, I guess, or young adults. So that's just kind of like what everyone wants, the cute guy that plays music and wants you, you know? Everyone wants a guy to shout "I love you" in a crowd of your fans. I mean, duh, don't we all have that dream?
Yeah, of course. But that's and maybe that's partly why it was kind of a hard sell too. Because I mean, I think you said earlier on, it's just, you know, unfortunately, films about just women existing have always been kind of a hard sell to. Not always, but like often, and it's sad that it is that way. They just kind of marketed this movie fairly young too, and I think because the cartoon had been geared more toward little girls and whatever
queer kids
and yes, queer kids and I think they tried to go that route with this too. But the stuff in here is actually kind of dark and like satirical if you really like break it down.
It goes back to that smart comedy, that cynical criticism of things that. Yeah, it's a bummer because I don't know how, like we've been saying, the movie looks so good. It's so fun.
It does.
But how would they have done it differently where you can have a Brady Bunch type success where the older people who get it do go see it, right? It's a really tricky thing to do.
It's a tough balance. Yeah.
Because I read, you might have seen the quote from the directors that I guess in hindsight, they said that the marketing was just geared so much to like young girls that wouldn't really get a lot of this stuff because they're like 12, whereas but like the 25-year-olds, but they, I guess, were already moving on to other things, right?
Although, like we were like, that age and we loved it. So it's like,
we loved
12,
it.
13, 14. So
I know for a fact because I saw this in theaters. I definitely was not as savvy as I am now, of course, where like I wasn't picking up on all the product placement and I was that was, I think my brain just wasn't there yet, right?
No, I just thought it was, it was fun. It was
a fun rock show.
Just very funny moments, like puppies become dogs and then die. Like my friend would just I would just quote that all the time for no reason.
And then cut to Mel is at the pet store, like petting these puppies, like with tears in her eyes.
Oh, so funny. Do you remember there was a PG version of this movie too, where they cut out a lot of little things.
Really?
And I remember I saw it.
How boring.
I know. There wasn't a whole lot.
Not even, it's not even that like adult.
It's really not that bad. It's really not. There was,
I know they say like the line, like you mess with the wrong pussy. I mean, like there's some pussy stuff. Like when Mel has the sign like honky
Pussycat sign. Yeah, that's like edited. I think in the PG version.
Oh God,
but there was.
Right?
Yes. But where's it going with that? But
I guess just to try to like gear towards try to at least get the kids
the younger,
to
like
interesting.
Yeah, but like we were saying earlier, I just miss the these kind of smart satirical movies in general. There were just a lot of them at the time, and I think this kind of got mixed into the mix of it, and I think people were kind of like, okay, we've seen this before. Let's move on to something else. At least too many people thought that. Now when they do a reboot of something, it's not nearly this smart. Like it feels like every time, it's usually just like, okay, we're going to do the same basic thing. Maybe we're going to change the cast. It's not going to be as interesting. It's not going to be as fun if it's a comedy. But back then when they were doing these reboots, they were always these sort of, not always, but often these satirical things that had something to say about society. It was commenting on what was going on at the time and also what was going on.
Then
maybe in the past a little bit.
Blend,
and I think that's what makes them special and what makes them like movies like the Brady Bunch movie and the Addams Family movie. These movies
and even Zoolander feels a little like that because he's like not
even
completely in the same world as the rest of us. That kind of fish out of water. That juxtaposition of dealing with the classic and then the new, right? Yeah,
for sure. So,
it's interesting because when you think about it, one last thing I'll say, and then I sadly got to run because I could keep chatting with you about whatever. But
it's okay.
Right? I mean, we're just getting started. But one thing that is kind of interesting about the movie that might be a sort of accidental thing is the girls find the audience that they've been needing, that they've been craving, because of the help of bad corporations. Do you know what I mean? So luckily they're smart and they realize this is not good. We don't want to be part of that. But I just wonder, when you think about it that way, like, do you kind of need to sell your soul a little bit and then figure out the right time to part ways, and then you can still, ride off into the sunset the right way with like your, what I mean? So that's just something I caught,
Yeah, it's in that's something you see in like politics and things in general too. Of like, it's like, do you have to sell your soul to the devil to like change things from the inside, or do you have to just destroy the entire system? That's always the sort of question that's going. And I think we're seeing that a lot particularly in like progressive, not to get into politics, but in terms of progressive politics right now, this idea of like, oh, should we just keep doing what we've been doing, which is not working at all, or do we destroy the whole system, which could make things bad too? It's just, and I think, and that's kind of what you were saying. It's like with the music industry, it's kind of the same thing. Like, or any sort of industry, it's like, do you sell your soul totally to this corporation, or
it's kind of like, well, just get your foot in the door, do what you have to do. In a way, right? I'm sure that's not like what they want us to take away from it, but I just thought that was an interesting thing, that it's like, well, you have this big concert and you're playing, Spin Around, and everyone's loving it, but you wouldn't have had that if Wyatt wasn't desperate for, to manipulate another group, so it's interesting, And
I like that it's kind of implied that with like the du jour stuff, that people liked that in large part because they were being brainwashed to like it. Whereas at the end of the movie, it's like, when you just are yourself and you just, not trying to be this thing, when you just, put yourself out there, even if it is being sponsored by like the corporations and everything, it's like, oh, people like that. And actually it ends up benefiting the corporations more because, people appreciate the authenticity of it. Right?
Yes.
It's so that was fun. I did like,
Yeah, and I do love when she says that line to the crowd at the end, like, I'm going to paraphrase, but something kind of like, just listen to it for yourselves. You decide if you like it or maybe you don't, but, take off those cute little, Josie ears and just decide, right? So that's the whole message of the movie is right there in that line.
That is,
which is cool.
Be yourself and
it's a really fun, good movie.
It is.
I'm glad we have it and we can go back to it and laugh and like, just kind of think of all these things and then compare it to how we are now. And it's so wild. Did you see all that product placement was not paid for? That was all the director, which is so interesting because and it would have kind of what you were saying before. It would be interesting if actually not that this would be better, but it maybe could we could appreciate the production design even more. I mean, it's already so great. If like instead of like, I don't know, the Pizza Hut logo, it looks like it, but it's like pizza shed or something. What I mean?
Something
like,
slightly different.
That could have been that could have just made it even better for me. Is if we see these logos, but actually it's not Coca-Cola. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but they use the real logos everywhere. I mean, Evian and McDonald's in the shower, and like, it's really impressive. So
Target is all over the place. Like
Target's
it's
all
on
over
the plane,
that plane
and it's in the hotel, and it's over.
It's really impressive.
I don't know. Sorry, that's totally random. Just the scene where she walks into the bathroom and the kind of reference to I Know We Did Last Summer.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
I don't know. I just had
the little heart. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, because that's the other fun thing about this movie is it makes fun of a couple other things not in this world, but like were popular at the time. I know, and then there was something else that I feel like I'm like, oh, that's maybe it was Romy Michele. Like it was just kind of commenting on recent other great movies.
I mean, teen culture was all kind of like mixed together.
It was
it's
everywhere.
Like you saw the teen horror movies, and you also saw the teen comedies, and the teen dramas and everything. So, and this was kind of riding on that wave. But again, I think it's maybe a little, I don't want to say smarter, but kind of smart. Like it's trying to say something more than like a lot of those movies were kind of trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think people didn't really maybe get that.
It had a bigger message.
Yeah, at least a little bit. At least it tried to say something a little more. Great movie. I love it. Thank you for
that's so yes, of course. I wish I could keep talking, but I gotta go. But Kevin,
that's okay.
People can find you online. You, like we said, you watch so many great things. You have great thoughts. I love hearing your reviews. You used to have a podcast, Homos on Haunted Hill. Are you guys ever going to bring that back, or is that can we still hear it? If anyone wants to hear it, is it still?
It's still floating around out there.
Right.
We talk about it sometimes. Chris Moore, who you've had on this podcast.
Oh yeah, he's been on.
He's wonderful. We're still good friends. We didn't have like a fallout or anything. Life got too
I love
busy
seeing your comments on each other's posts, and I'm there too. I know.
We talked about doing like a Desperate Housewives podcast at some point, so we'll see. We'll see.
All right. So you'll come back in some way, but at least we can hear old episodes, right?
Yeah, I'm still out there. Yeah. This is fun. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so
good.
Love to come back at some point, so,
welcome back. You'll be back on for something. We'll think of more things. I mean, just like we said, just in 2001 alone. I mean, whoa.
There's so many. Have you done Legally Blonde yet?
Not yet. So maybe
if
I can fit
in
mind
for that.
I know, because that is a huge movie, and it's so good. It's great when a huge movie is actually so great. Like Clueless, like Mean Girl, like when you know, these movies that actually deserve to be huge. I'd say Legally Blonde is totally up there, right?
Yeah, totally. Me too.
Josie and the Pussycats.
And that's a wrap. Du jour means family. Du jour means teamwork. And this episode was some great teamwork, so thank you to my favorite pussycat, Kevin Jones, for finally coming on the show and being a great guest as expected. Follow him at Hello Sydney Horror on Instagram for all of his great pop culture posts. And hey, follow me while you're at it at Release Date Rewind to see more of this convo and this fun movie. And all of you out there, thank you for listening to or watching all of these subliminal messages in this episode. Thanks Straw Hut Media, the You Run Podcast Network, and Kyle Motzinger for the theme song. Next time, we are going back to the mythical 80s, where fairies and devils roam the forest in Ridley Scott's Legend, which is now 40 years old in the US, one of my all-time faves. Oh my gosh, cannot wait. So stay tuned for that very soon. And in the wise parting words of Melody Valentine,
You know, you should always try to go to the bathroom before you leave the house, even if you don't have to.
bye.